James Hergott here, and I'm going to talk to you today about Luimarco's new product, which is called the Bump. It is a pre-workout and also an intra-workout, and I'm going to talk to you about why the product, in my opinion, sucks. Now, before I get a lot of hate mail, I'm going to tell you that I actually like Luimarco. I enjoy his videos. I have a lot of respect for him. He's got a huge huge following. He also is somebody that I believe, in his opinion, always speaks the truth for him. And I respect a lot of his opinions with respect to not only fitness but to MGTOW and other endeavors and things that he speaks on. So, in this world, we always have more in common than we do in difference, and that's certainly the case here. Luimarco and myself are approximately the same age. We're both Canadians, and we both obviously love fitness, and we're both independent-minded people. So, I salute Luimarco. This is nothing personal against him. It's just an ideological discussion about his product. So, first of all, the tale of the tape. Now, in any debate, what your background qualifications are shouldn't really influence the debate. But in this case, I would just like to throw kind of the difference between Luimarco and myself. Luimarco has obviously researched a lot of things to do with health and fitness, and he certainly is well educated on the subject. He also coaches people. Now, my particular background is I, I'm 38 years old, so I believe Luimarco's a year older than I am, and I'm a filmmaker and a competitive bodybuilder. So I've competed in 6 contests. So one thing that I would draw a comparison between Luimarco and myself is that there's a lot of things where Luimarco talks about them, but he hasn't actually done. So not that you have to compete in order to be a bodybuilder, like Joe Weider says. Pretty much, if you're doing anything to build yourself up physically, then you are a bodybuilder. Now, being a competitive bodybuilder is a different level. You learn a lot of things putting yourself in that position. A lot of people don't want to put themselves up against being judged and against other people. And, so I think to me, it's like the difference between somebody commenting on swimming and somebody that actually swims. So myself, I'm not the best bodybuilder in the world. I've done approximately 6 contests. I'm in the natural stream in Ontario. In Ontario, we have the natural and the open. Natural stream is tested. And prior to that, I did other contests, including Fame, which was also a tested show. I started training around the same time that Luimarco did. I started training when I was 16 years old. Again, I grew up in the province of Ontario. Currently, I'm going to be competing at the national level at the IFBB qualifier in August. So I do have some experience that way. I also have some experience with my other career, which is in filmmaking and television. So with that, I'm the business director of Generation Iron, which is obviously basically the follow-up to Pumping Iron. And in regards to that work, I've been around many of the top bodybuilders in the world. Also, in regards to that work, I also worked on the Mr. Olympia, like this past year, as part of the production team, and my friends and uh, guys that I work with on Generation Iron, and another TV project that I'm doing called Radical Body Transformations is Vlad and Edwin. They produced and directed the Mr. Olympia. So needless to say, I definitely have a lot of access to what's going on. I know a lot of the judges on the Mr. Olympia, so I'm not somebody that is sitting at home commenting on the Mr. Olympia, the Arnold. I'm at these events and I'm usually behind the scenes. And I can tell you that a lot of Luimarco's comments regarding the Mr. Olympia last year, um, anything to do with like, judging is rigged or this and that, a lot of that stuff is just pure bunk. And I can tell you that firsthand, again, being part of the production team and also, uh, working with the actual, athletes, working with the actual judges. A couple of the judges are from Canada and are pretty good friends of mine. And, I've had frank discussions with them about the sport and different things. Also, credential wise, I'm doing a TV show called Radical Body Transformations. And I work with a lot of the top coaches throughout Canada. We filmed in Winnipeg, Halifax, all throughout Ontario, and even in the US as well. And through that, I've gotten to work with a lot of high level athletes that compete and a lot of top level coaches. So through those experiences, I learned a lot as well. I know what people are actually doing and what's really effective. Also, I worked on a movie called The Striking Truth about George St. Pierre in Luimarco's home basically in Montreal. And I know that Luimarco's got some connections to George St. Pierre and his gym. But even working, and I worked with a lot of other MMA fighters. I've done a number of MMA related projects. So not just bodybuilding, but other athletics. So, given my kind of credentials, I'd like to kind of give you my take on the bump and also what my alternative would be and is. So, first of all, I don't know the exact ingredients in the bump. Luimarco's briefly gone over some of the key ones that are in it. A lot of them have to do with being stimulants and things like this. Uh, it's $55, which is expensive for anybody. Uh, my advice is to save the money, and here's why. Number one, I think this is the most important product that is out there today. And I will tell you upfront that I have never taken any money from this company. I have met with the CEO before, but he's never sponsored anything I've done. He's not paying for this video. He's not paying for anything. This is just what I actually take. And in disclosure, I'm sponsored by Popeyes, which is a big supplement, the number one sort of supplement provider for muscle building and things like that within Canada, with the exception of GNC, which is more of a worldwide company. But with Popeyes, they have basically all kinds of different products in there, and even though I'm sponsored by them, that doesn't give me any kind of ethical leaning or a reason to support this. So we're the reason I like this is that it's called Vitargo, and this product is basically a carbohydrate that gets in your bloodstream really fast and it helps with endurance and it helps with recovery. And there's, endless studies on this. In addition to that, all of the top bodybuilders, pretty much that I know, they're taking it. So it's not, you can walk into, again, a Popeyes or GNC or any place like that, and a salesperson could talk to you about different things or whatever. But in terms of like actual bodybuilders that compete, that's what they're taking. And I started taking it myself, and I found it very effective. And I know people at the highest level here in Canada and in the US that are taking Vitargo. Again, I don't get anything from them. So it's a very expensive product, but it's a very good product. It doesn't have any stimulants in it. Again, it's a carbohydrate essentially. It's not a simple sugar. It's more of a starchy carbohydrate, but it's fast acting. It gets in your system, and I found that my workouts really improved in terms of what I was able to push, and therefore I would get more out of my workouts and also increase my recovery. And I know there's studies on other sorts of athletics which would also benefit from a product like this. So I recommend taking at least a scoop of that uh, pre as well as intra workout, and maybe even another scoop post workout, depending on how many calories and carbohydrates you're taking in within your diet. Next product I would recommend for your workout, intra workout and post workout, is leucine. You can take branched chain amino acids overall, but pretty much the majority of what benefits you studies wise within within branched chain amino acids is leucine. So you could just get this. This is an all max, but you could use any brand. This is just what I happen to have purchased. And again, I don't get anything from Allmax. A friend of mine, Monica Wynn, is a Allmax athlete. But other than that, it's just a straight leucine product. It's cheaper, and I believe you get more out of it than buying branched chain amino acids. But you certainly at least want branched chain amino acids in combination with Vitargo. The other thing that I take pre-workout is called Flashbang, and Flashbang is by Advanced Genetics. It's got a number of the typical pre-workout things in it. It's really, really strong. It's a Canadian brand, and Chris Johnson, who's the CEO of it, is a really good guy. In full disclosure, Advanced Genetics has sponsored Radical Body Transformation. So if you want to use a different pre-workout or whatever, I am biased towards this one. But you can even, in my opinion, use basically caffeine or caffeine and ephedra. In Canada, you can buy ephedra legally. Of course, they have a specific dosing and all that type of thing. So even if you just use a simple caffeine and ephedra to give you a boost, and you use the Vitargo and use a branch chain, or you use leucine, I think that is going to give you by far the best, most significant real world results. Now that doesn't mean that the ingredients or things that are in Luimarco's products are inferior or that you shouldn't get them. I'm coming at this from the point of view that the average person out there has a limited budget, so they can only spend so much on their supplementation. If you're going to spend on your supplementation, I think you should get the most bang for your buck. So if you want to buy the products that I'm suggesting, and you also want to use Luimarco's, by all means use that or another pre or intra workout products. There are products and ingredients that do show that they help you, but in my opinion, and everything in this video is my opinion, what I just showed you is by far the best ingredients for real world results. So, not hating on Luimarco. Again, his videos are very helpful to a lot of people. I know he trains people and is very helpful in that respect. And, he's criticizes a lot of things within the sport, and a lot of times his criticisms are correct. But a lot of times his criticisms, I know, are based on false premises, just from working behind the scenes and things that he speculates on and stuff like that. But the fact that he is a fan of bodybuilding and talks about bodybuilding, promotes bodybuilding and promotes fitness. So I am a Luimarco supporter, and it just comes down to what you can afford And you know, especially for the young guys out there that are listening to Luimarco or anybody else, they may not have a lot of money. So, you know, budget yourself accordingly. Again, I believe in your basic, sticking to the basics, and these are what the basics are for me, based on working with some of the best athletes in the world. So, thank you for listening to this video. Peace out and much love.